Hey, welcome to Butcher Bay Rejects. I'm Mark.
I'm Greg. What's up, nerds?
How you doing, bud? How you doing?
Pretty good, you? Everything all cool over there?
Well, after 2 weeks of vacation, got nothing done.
That's what I thought. Okay. Sounds about right.
Well, there's things I wanted to try, but unfortunately the weather just really didn't agree.
Well, I take it you've watched all the shows I'm about to list, correct?
I should have.
Because we are going to cover episode 5 of Picard called Fly Me to the Moon. Then we're going to get into some HBO Max episode 4 of Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. Episode called, I kid you not, Who the Fuck is Jack McKinney? That's the actual title of this episode. And episode 4 of season 42 of Survivor called Vibe of the Tribe. That came out on Wednesday. And of course, episode 2 of Halo called Unbound. Yep. And we're going to round it up with the new premiere on Disney Plus of Moon Knight episode titled The Goldfish Problem. Before we get to Moon Knight, we're going to kick it off a little Picard. Fly Me to the Moon. So we meet Renee Picard, distant relative of Jean-Luc. And
great aunt, I believe.
She apparently is the key to everything. She has to go on this flight to Europa, or trip to Europa. Was it Europa?
I believe so, yeah.
And Q has limited powers, we find out. So he needs help
Q
from
is losing his mojo.
Our Dr. Soong, who was the basis for Data. Am I saying that right?
Well, he was Data's creator.
Yes, Data's creator. That's right. And we find out his daughter Core has some genetic deficiency, right? Where if she goes out in the sun, or boils her blood, or
yeah. Now, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The next generation and such, they're in the 24th century.
Oh boy. I should have looked that up.
Well, the thing is, Dr. Soong, they're putting him in 2025. How does he go a few centuries to big Data?
2024, right?
2024, whatever.
Yeah, still, I didn't think he was that, around
relative
our time. I didn't think he was that close to our timeline.
Ancestor. We're talking ancestor. Okay. Yeah. Just curious, because I was doing the math and I was sitting there going, well, wait, I know this going back in time changed things, but I don't think it rearranged the board that much.
Did you catch who the committee head was? That was
Leah Thompson.
Yeah. And of course, this episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes, #1.
Well, you knew he was going to get in there somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, he's become a good director in his own right.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Yeah, no, I was just, seeing all that fanboying a little bit going, oh yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Oh, look at that,
Yeah, and as we thought, that wasn't really Laris, the Watcher. It was actually someone named Talon who just took on the familiar face.
Look.
Yeah,
look.
Yeah. Hell of a look. That woman is beautiful. Jesus. So beautiful.
You've mentioned a few times.
I have. Sorry. Yeah. I just hope she's listening. Anyway. We
can always hope.
Basically, we find out the Watcher changes angles. We find out it's really Q. That's the, doing therapy session, asking back, basically trying to get her to opt out of the mission. Right. So.
Yeah. So, he just can't help himself but meddle.
Yeah, a bit powerless, even though the Watcher asks the right question. Well, if he's so omnipotent, how come he can't? And Picard doesn't really know. He doesn't know that he's without powers, and that's why he. Oh,
if Picard finds out he doesn't have his mojo, he's throwing a punch like you wouldn't believe.
And we find out, of course, that Q does really have the cure for the daughter, but he's obviously the obstacle he probably wants taken care of is removing Picard, I'm guessing. I mean, we'll see that.
It's manipulation, right?
Yeah.
Dangle the carrot and then, make the monkey dance.
That's right. Basically.
So, it's typical Q, right? He's that's what he does. He manipulates. So,
yeah. And then probably the best part. I mean, I'm sorry. The scene stealer here is the Borg Queen. How she finally gains control of the ship and the communications, and she calls in the 911 call to the chateau, and then of course the cop comes on board, and she could assimilate him, but she wants Agnes, desperately. And then we find out Agnes shoots their only ticket home. Or does she? So we find out at the end that either she assimilated or put nanobots in her skin when she touched her face or scratched her. So
it looked like she merged with her and put her consciousness into Agnes.
Yeah, either way.
So they are never alone.
Yeah.
But could this actually be the birth of the Borg?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like when you go back in time and change something, like, yeah, I mean, and
the first assimilation in that century, and
anything's possible. Well, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that puts a monkey wrench into the plan, because yes, the Borg Queen is their only way home, but now she's in Agnes. So what? I'm wondering how they wrote themselves out of this one, the writers.
Well, I think with Agnes's initial merge, she's probably going to say, oh no, I got the information on how to do it, just to, I guess you could say, save face in front of everybody else without saying, well, I kind of merged with the Borg Queen,
Yeah.
Because that automatically puts her in isolation.
Yeah. And I'm going back to Jean-Luc. He actually finds out that if Renee isn't on that Europa flight, it leads to the Confederation, and that she discovers a sentient microorganism on Io and will bring it back to Earth. So who knows what the hell that thing is?
You? No.
Yeah.
But no, it's well, right now, as I said, the beauty of Picard is that, and they did this in the first season too, is that guessing where they're going, they really, really hide that well. So they don't, you're always guessing as to which way they're going to go, how they're going to get out of this. What are they going to do? Could they go this way? And then they go a completely different direction and really go, no, I didn't think of that.
Yeah. That's your classic Star Trek.
Pretty much. But no, I'm thinking that, I mean, there's a lot to resolve. Raffi's got issues. She's got to work through.
Side note, I just, I just can't stand her. And it's not like she's Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones. She's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to hate her. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
When an actor,
she's supposed to be one of the good guys that you kind of support. But
I don't know about you. I can't stand her. Like, do you like her?
Well, I mean, I understand what she's going through and how she's going through.
Always angry and Jesus.
Well, I mean, the person that she's loved and cared for most of the like a child to her was killed. So yeah, she's grieving.
I know, but it's even last season. I'm saying like if there's a death, I hope it's her. No offense to the actress, but oh my God, I can't take it. I really can't.
At least they got Rio sewed.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty easily too.
Little EMP. Okay,
that's right.
Boom.
Yeah, took out everything.
Out and about. So.
Yep.
No.
Well,
it was the easiest escape they ever did.
That's right. Well, we're gonna have to tune in to episode 6 next week to see how they get themselves out of this one.
Are they doing 8 episodes?
I don't know the exact count. I hope it's 10, but yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into some winning time. Episode 4. So it kind of starts with them attending the funeral of Jerry Tarkanian's friend. Bus is told he's not getting Tarkanian, so he takes the advice. This college coach called Jack McKinney, right? And basically, he's the guy that creates the fast break, which I've always heard of. I didn't know it was attributed to him. And of course, it's crazy how up until then they weren't doing the fast break. Basketball was just like he was saying. Well, that's my spot. I stand in the post. This guy throws me the ball, and that's it.
Well, that's just it. They never thought to mix it up that way and be fluid.
Never run the whole court. These guys were getting gassed. I mean, then the whole team goes basically back to West to complain and you got to do something.
But then he finds that combination, and boy, does it work nice.
And who do we get as his assistant? Marshmallow. Marshmallow's back. Jason Segel.
Yeah.
Who actually played against West when he's younger. He's 32. I hope you coach better than you play.
That was funny.
Actually remembered the guy's number.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, sometimes when you play against someone that's
bad, you remember them? Okay.
Or no, an adversary, a nemesis, or of some kind. You remember their numbers, but no, it's I just for me, like, again, sports underdogs is my thing, and like to see the guys starting to gel, and you just kind of like, oh yeah, let's go,
Magic was, he's an extraordinary passer, and he was hitting up his nemesis because he put Norm Nixon and Magic on the same team, right? So
they put him on the same thing.
They were in sync, right? I mean,
yeah. They kept going fast breaks to each other and up to Kareem and just making a thing. It was the other guy. The other team were getting pissed off. The guys that used to be on the A team and now they're on the B team, and they're like getting all they were getting all huffy.
And they couldn't handle Magic's style because he was the type of passer where like he knew who was open, so you should always be ready for the pass. Like the guy who got in a fight got no, you were open.
Exactly.
I'm going to pass you the ball, so they couldn't get used to it. And of course, his height too was causing havoc. A 6'9" guard. I mean, it's unheard of back then. Now it's normal.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it all kind of puts together and like.
Well, I'm looking forward to see if Kareem actually takes one of the goddamn orange juice. I don't know what the hell he was looking for. Like, it's got to be something.
He did. He took the last one. Well, he pretty good, but it's not. This is not a newspaper.
But that's only after he stood up to him, and like he only took it because Magic stood up to him. Like, I'm doing this friendly squeeze. Maybe that's what he was looking for.
Well, Captain tries to bring out the best in his players, right? So But until then, everybody was just kind of like going to Kareem to complain, right? Norm Nixon did it. He complained, what am I going to tell you? To fuck off. Okay. But Magic was like, hey, man, I'm trying here and you keep blowing me off. I squeeze this myself. You try this damn thing, like, all right, kid, like you get respect when you stand up for yourself. When you sit and whine all the time, and that's all that they do is whine to Kareem. But if they kind of, no, man, I'm here to do this, and I'm here to get it, he gets a little bit of respect from Kareem. Now Kareem's not going to let him have the whole meal, right? He's not going to let him have the whole thing. He's like, yeah, but this isn't a newspaper. It's like you still got to leave him wanting a little bit, but no, it's and I think seeing that they are going to start playing better. I think you're going to see a little bit different attitude from Kareem. He's going to be like, nah, this is working and I'm liking this,
Let's talk about the hilarious, well, maybe not so hilarious, the hilarious opening where he's basically finger banging a Playboy playmate in the restaurant, and his young daughter, Jeannie Buss, is just like horrified that like, oh my God. Like,
but hey, that's the birth of the Laker girls.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then the whole thing, how they're gonna we're gonna make a new row, a row on the floor. We're just gonna stack it with celebrities. So that's where your Jack Nicholsons come in. We're gonna make it an ultra exclusive nightclub, and then she has
more exclusive than the grotto at the Playboy mansion.
Photo album of naked. Like, this is the type of dancer girls that we're gonna like.
Yeah, I know.
And they're like, what do you think? Like, like Jerry Buss is gonna say, no, it's showtime, baby. I mean, they basically just made it for him, I mean.
Well, you know what? I think in that sense, I mean, Jerry Buss does. I mean, he's got his doctorate. He's got a PhD.
Yeah,
but he's also the guy that grew up with nothing and clawed his way up. So he's like the everyday journeyman. So if he likes all this stuff, guaranteed the layman is going to like all that stuff too, right?
Yeah.
They're going to get all like, oh yeah, check that out. It's like, look at that. The spectacle is going to catch everybody's eye, especially like the regular Joes that are going to be like, oh, wow, man, check that out. The Laker girls are on. Yeah. It's the same effect as the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, right?
Yeah.
You make it hot, you make it sexy, you promote it, and more people than not are going to want to see that and want to get into it.
Yeah, well, hopefully, next week is the one where we get Paul Abdul.
But I'm just waiting for the Pat Riley thing to click in.
Yeah, now he's like assistant traveling secretary. He's kind of like what George did on the Yankees. I mean, that's his new job now. Like, yeah, I had no idea.
He's shooting
Riley,
film of the practices.
Yeah, I had no idea. Riley, I thought he just came in as coach. So yeah, this is pretty amazing for me to discover something new.
Well, I'm wondering if he's like, because he keeps watching the film and he's filming it and he's seeing it from the overall, right? Where he's going to find some chinks in the armor and see where to plug it up and make some suggestions. And next thing you know,
even though, he was on that winning team, he's got his ring. He might want to be one of these players that are actually better as a coach than they were a player. You know what I mean?
Because when we get to the end there, the coach was having a bit of a hard time. He was doubting this is going to work. He was doubting it. And then when he was put on the spot, he got all huffy.
Yeah.
Jerry, close practices, So, like I said, it's all building up to something, and I can't wait to see it because I think they've done such a great job of portraying all this. I'm pretty sure they've taken liberties with the story, but apparently is a lot of it. The majority of it is kind of.
Yeah, Magic said he won't watch it, but that's, could be because it's too close to home or,
Probably for the same reason Pam didn't want to watch Pam and Tommy.
Yeah, but I know he's been working, as I heard him on Rob Lowe's podcast a while back in the summer, he's planning his own thing like Michael Jordan did with the Bulls, his own documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe he doesn't want to compete.
Probably not. But no, they're doing a great job of everything, displaying the times, displaying the thing, the look. How about the diss Magic does on Cookie?
Yeah, that
was cool. A little bit on the harsh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how dare you? Like.
Yeah.
She hung up on him.
Yeah, but I'm can't wait to see how this goes because it's new. It's original. It's fresh.
Yeah,
original in a way of being portrayed, but it's nothing original because
I don't even mind, and I love it. It's like they shot it on 70 millimeter, just like it was grainy 70s, footage.
Yeah.
So it actually works.
John C. Reilly with the hair.
Oh yeah, he's perfect in that role. But it's because of this role in this series that Adam McKay is no longer. Him and Will Ferrell have been lifelong friends. They're no longer talking. It's because of this series. Because Will thought he was getting the role that John C. Reilly is doing right now.
Really?
So that friendship's over. Because Adam McKay's been pretty vocal about it. Because they kept asking him in interviews what happened, but Will hasn't said anything. But Adam said, "Yeah, it's because of this."
You know what? I don't think Will Ferrell could have pulled it off.
No, not like John C. Reilly. No. Like
was it last episode when he was doing his hair and like that, just that long top part?
And then we got the payoff when he met Tarkadian. This Tarkadian basically calls him out,
Yeah.
Me, I was bald. I shaved my head, and then that kind of stung. You can tell it stung, Bus.
But I can understand that.
Yeah.
Going bald and shave your head.
That's right.
I did.
Yeah.
As soon as I started getting the Phil Collins look, okay, no, we're gone.
Yeah.
Time to change it up.
Well, speaking of change up, let's go to Survivor season 42. So once again, I mentioned it on a previous episode. Jonathan Young, he's our big beefy guy. He's just putting a huge target. This time the other team called him out on it. He single-handedly again won the challenge. Did you see when he was swimming how he left the girl behind him? So he's pulling the boat, swimming with the boat, and pulling the girl. Like, this is the problem with Survivor. If you don't do well enough, they're going to vote you off, and if you do too well, they vote vote you off. So this guy, I'm sorry, Jonathan, I love you. You're never going to make it. You're just too much of a threat. And this is survival of the weakest. What do you think?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's calling him Goliath. They're calling him Thor. They're calling him, he's the god of physique, right?
Yeah. And I don't think he'll make it. Yeah. And then they won fish as a challenge. So fish to a bodybuilder is, like crack. And I don't think he'll make the merge because, yes, you need him to win the challenge, but at one point you're going to have to cut your losses.
Yeah. Especially if the challenges start getting more physical, especially when they get to a merge and things become individual immunity versus group immunity.
Yeah.
Anything physical, he's winning.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, then the side story, we saw little Tori, gorgeous girl, Tori and Swati, probably this is living proof that not all smart people go to Harvard. Okay. Cause Swati could have been more dumb by promising everyone, you're my number one, like people talk in this game. That's all there is to do.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand, like when the challenges every 3 days, there's so much downtime we don't see. Contestants are usually bored, like beyond belief, but we don't see that. So all they do is talk. So Swati, of course, got voted off. She's at Harvard and just did everything wrong,
Well, was it Vatu? They're lucky they didn't go to tribal because Daniel would have.
Yeah.
He would have been gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he was trying to talk his way. I like when they got, I really don't feel like talking about it tonight. Can we do that tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Fuck you, you
nice try.
rat piece of shit. I mean, they even say he's a lawyer. He's going to talk his way out of it, right? Yeah. So it's like,
exactly.
Yeah. You're useless in camp. You sit out every physical challenge. Well, then again, his shoulder, he can't do shit, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think because they allude to that. I think in next week's episode, he's out trying to catch fish, and they're like, "He's got a dislocated shoulder. What is he doing?"
Yeah. So I mean, and even like in the preview for next week, they showed actually Marianne having a bit of a tiff with John. So it's like could be the beginning of the end. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Ready to get in some Halo?
I wouldn't mind seeing him go further. He's earning. He's earning.
So do I, but I know, been watching this show 22 years. I know how this ends. But there's also a challenge that, I've watched enough challenges to know some are geared towards the women too. When, whereas a short woman with small feet usually wins, you know what I mean? It's this whole balance thing. So women's center of gravity, it's a fact. I'm not making it up, is actually lower than a man. So tall guys, big guys, don't do well in certain challenges, but whatever, we'll see.
True.
Halo, Unbound.
Halo.
So we actually get to see a Bokeem Woodbine, but not as I originally thought. They do a little flashback at the beginning where he leaves. He leaves the UNSC.
Leaves the Spartan program. Yeah.
We think John's going to go with him, but changes his mind at the last minute, gives him 5 minutes to flee. And of course, that sets up the present, the only place he can go, right, with that device is to his old friend.
Well, I mean, he's looking for answers, right? So he's kind of like, right now, the UNFC is like persona non grata. So he's got to go somewhere where there might be more feelers out in the universe, especially on the underside of it. So yeah, he goes to see him.
Soren. Yeah, of course, he's on a colony called Rubble, which is basically all it looked like, right?
Rubble. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those. It's like nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Just that out of the way port that houses all the dregs of the universe.
I didn't read anything, but am I to assume that Mackie, the human raised by the Covenant leaders, is his sister? I mean, it's hard to see in the flashbacks. They happen so quick, but are they going to be related somehow?
I don't know.
This is just a guess.
This is all new to me.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
but do you think that's what's happening?
It could be, because I mean, there's some similarities between it. I don't know if they casted it that way, but she's one of the blessed, he's one of the blessed, so it's kind of like, interesting. But it's right now it's a crapshoot because he doesn't have the, I guess you could say, experience to sort all these feelings out and all these things out. All he can do is just kind of like go to the people that he knows and try to gain information and try to figure it out, which is why, like, when he, after talking with Crazy Guy,
Reth, who's aboard the Covenant ship as a guest. He tells them the ring will bring the end of life as we know it, and that Master Chief, he's something greater than what he believes he is, and he's able to prevent the ring from bringing about this catastrophe. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, so he when he realizes the galaxy, the universe, everything's in danger. Well, he goes back to the UNFC because that's where he can do the most good, right? And he trusts Halsey, but we know enough to know that he shouldn't trust Halsey, and she's probably the one that had this program where they just kidnapped kids from their parents and then erased their memories of such. Yeah, it was a bit kind of like Soldier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The movie Soldier with Russell Crowe. Yeah, not Russell Crowe, Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah, Kurt Russell. Yeah.
But I mean, so I mean, this is definitely got some. There's definitely some, I guess you could say, skeletons in the closet that we don't quite know about. I know in the game, it always goes back to her and some of the other Spartans go back to her. And, there's always a questionable thing happening going on. But I think in essence, if it goes a bit of the way the game goes, because they're instituting Cortana to try and control the Master Chief. Yeah,
the episode ends with Halsey opening up the pod where Cortana is stored. So we'll probably get Cortana next episode. I'm guessing. Yeah.
So, but the thing is, I think he kind of frees Cortana.
Oh, okay.
Making her think for herself and then seeing what's going on. And then the two of them together work together to try and, save the universe, Get to Halo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be so. Everything I've seen so far has just been like so spot on to the game. Even Rubble looked like one of the like an outpost that I might have seen in one of the games. So it's kind of like, oh, this is so cool. And like they fabricated warthogs, and I'm like, oh, they must have had fun building those. Functioning warthogs. I wonder if you can see him out in the wild, jumping over rocks and shit. Yeah, no, I'm super loving this. I'm super thinking it's great. I'm loving him trying to figure out who he is, because I mean, obviously this is based on the game, but they gotta do more to flesh out the characters, right? Yeah.
Like you have to leave Quan behind with Soren on Rubble. You can't just stay with Master Chief and have a pet. You know what I mean? Like she's going to be in danger.
But even Master Chief finding a little bit of something, like when Soren's kid comes and gives him the stamp.
Yeah.
And he's like, I accept, but he's creating relationships that he never would have as a soldier. As a soldier, he just goes, kills, does his mission, comes back. Downtime, right? Until the next mission. He's seeing there's more to life. There's more out there. There's more reasoning for things and why and hows. So I think in that instance, it's going to be eye-opener. He's still going to be, I mean, the biggest force there is. I think with regards to what's going to happen to him is going to change the Spartan program. Because if you watch carefully, all the other Spartans are trying to figure out what's he doing. Why is this happening?
Yeah,
and it's confusing them as well.
Yeah. It's just uncharacteristic behavior from their chief, and
well, they're trying to figure out, well, why is he doing this? And Chief's always got a plan. And you see that one girl, she's kind of like, she's always got a confused look on her face, and it's like, okay. The switches are starting to turn on.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where it goes next. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's going to, I mean, this episode has been pretty smooth with regards to action and whatnot. Just laying some groundwork. I'm looking forward to seeing when the shit hits the fan again.
Yes, sir.
I want to see Master Chief go in there, guns blazing again.
Shit hitting the fan. Let's get into Moon Knight. So,
yeah.
I'm just going to say what I didn't like about it, because we only have 6 episodes of this. So when you only have 6 episodes and you wait your whole life to see the Moon Knight come to screen, I get kind of irked when one whole episode is wasted, because the cool action scenes we saw, we didn't get to see, right? Because Mark Spector took over. So every time a major action scene came up, we just see the dead bodies surrounding him, or the carnage. Otherwise, yes, I liked it, but maybe it's selfish of me. I don't know what you thought. But if I'm only getting 6 episodes of Moon Knight, I want to see Moon Knight in all of them. What do you think?
Yes, it was selfish of you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think they had to do it that way, because
I know
you had to see, Steve Grant kind of like, what's going on? What's happening to me? Like that whole thing. Let's start at the beginning with the opening thing with Ethan Hawke crushing glass and putting it in his shoes. Like, what kind of self-mutilating martyrism is this?
That's like the albino monk. It's a Da Vinci Code.
Self-flagellation.
Self-flagellation thing. Yeah, it's wasn't anything to do really with Egyptian. I read up on it, but his scales, because I studied a few courses in Egypt. Yeah, the scales were in Egyptian days, they would weigh your soul, your heart against the feather, right? So if you would, then the scales would tip in your favor, and somehow he's able to take the soul of the old lady that apparently wasn't maybe good, or in the future that she wasn't going to be so good, and took her away.
That whole thing, obviously that's how you build a cult, right? But apparently this villain was made just for the show. It wasn't a previous thing. So this is all going to be fresh. You can't really say to this guy's character right now, okay, cult leader with powers. Okay, let's see where this goes. But with regards to with Oscar Isaac, I think Oscar Isaac played this beautifully. I think he was like completely immersed in this character. The meek, the kind of thing, the 2 days late for a date.
Having to chain himself to his bed.
Don't call me, but it's Friday. No, it's Sunday. What?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not sure why he chose the accent. I think they're going to explain that later.
Probably. They are in London.
True.
So, right now for me, like, I was never a big Moon Knight reader. So
I was at the time, but I don't remember, a lot. But
right now, this is all fresh to me. So I'm just kind of like taking it all in as it comes.
Did you actually think Khonshu was voiced by Frank Welker at one point? Like, I was hearing Optimus Prime, but but it's F. Murray Abraham. But did you think for a second it was is it Frank Welker that voices Optimus Prime? Is that the actor?
No, Frank Welker voices Megatron.
Okay, who am I thinking of then? The guy that does.
You're thinking of Peter Cullen.
Oh yeah, sorry, I thought it was Peter Cullen there for a second, but it's
No.
Oscar winner
F. Murray Abraham. Yes.
And there was a little, I don't know if you noticed, there's a side scene. You remember when the little girl is in the gift shop and he's showing her the sarcophagus?
Yeah.
There's a QR code on the glass. If you scan that QR code, it brings you to the free digital copy of Werewolf by Night, the first appearance of Moon Knight. Really? So you could actually scan that, freeze frame the screen, scan it with your phone.
Oh, geez,
you'll get a free digital copy. I know. Well, no one. Some people like analyze every single episode, right?
Oh, that's funny.
They put it up. So yeah, you could actually do that now.
Yeah. No, so far I'm liking everything that's going on. The whole goldfish thing was funny.
Yeah.
How do you explain this?
It's got 2 fins. If you're looking for another shop that mutilates goldfish, then go elsewhere.
What do they say? I know it was in the movie, but it's not real. Talking about Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
But no. I liked everything. Like, I liked the character that he's kind of building, the Stephen Grant. He's playing it so well. I mean, right down to his talk with Crawley, the statue impersonator.
Yeah,
which I found out is actually
from the comics.
From the comics.
That's right.
But I mean, talk about just like having like he's been his buddy the whole time and just kind of talking and then dropping him in a sandwich and like don't forget to tip.
Quite the soundtrack. We got everything from Bob Dylan, Engelbert Humperdinck to Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go. So,
I mean, come on.
Naturally, the title
they're putting the Disney money behind it.
Yeah. So naturally, the title of this episode is "Wake Me Up Before You Moon Knight." Thank you. I thought of that on my own. So you're welcome.
No, I mean, Disney's got to own some sort of record company somewhere that they can just
even if they don't, they can afford the $250,000 normally, which is to buy a song just for.
Well, think about it this way, also, right? Anyone that owns the rights to older song or whatnot, if something like Moon Knight comes along and they want to use that song, my guess is that they're going to say yes, sure, because then it becomes relevant again, right? So then everybody's, going on Spotify, going on iTunes. Oh yeah, I remember that. I mean, just look what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
Yeah.
Revitalize all that music. I mean, how much before then, before Guardians came along, when was the last time you listened to Cherry Bomb by the Runaways?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
or Redbone.
Come and
get your love. Come and get your love. Yeah. I always loved that song, but I hadn't heard it in a while.
So, I mean, all of these revitalization of stuff is, anybody that owns music nowadays, especially considering you don't get a lot of, I guess you could say, push for music these days. I'm not a fan of today's music. I stopped listening to the radio a long time ago. And I listened to a lot of just the stuff I grew up with, and to, see a lot of this revitalized in this, makes you go back and say, oh yeah, I got to get that. I want to hear that more and more and more. So you listen to it on Spotify, you listen to it on iTunes and so on and so forth. So I think anybody that holds the copyrights to older music is just waiting for somebody like Disney to come knocking on the door. Can we use that song? Yes, you can.
Yeah. Because every time you hear a song, you go to YouTube and people say, I'm here because of this episode. Like, I was watching the Hello video by Dragonette and Martin Solveig, and people are like, I'm here because of Coach Beard, like
exactly.
Yeah. So many people discover a new song, and then you got your link to iTunes and the YouTube video,
Yeah, I'm waiting to see some Phil Collins stuff come back, so kids nowadays can actually know who Phil Collins is.
Yeah,
I told you that story. Where I was photographing a girl who didn't know a student who didn't know who Phil Collins was, and I just felt very old.
Fear not, there are many like that. Well, looking forward to the next episodes. The only news I have from this week is kind of major. I don't know why, but for some reason, Obi Wan Kenobi Disney Plus changed the date from Star Wars Day, May 25th to May 27th, putting in direct competition with Stranger Things and Top Gun. However, they said because of this, we're going to give you the first 2 episodes instead of 1, but it's kind of strange. They didn't give a definitive answer whether they changed the date from Star Wars Day to the 27th, but I think they did say, even though that's coming out on a Friday, the episodes will still come out on a Wednesday. So just odd that they would, directly compete with Stranger Things, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Top Gun. I mean, everybody's been waiting for that.
We just got the latest trailer and we find out a little nugget there of Kazansky, what's happened to him career-wise. So I'm surprised.
Admiral Kazansky.
I felt I was just like Khan and Star Trek 2 going, Admiral. I was saying that over and over, like in Ricardo Montalban's voice, like he was shocked that Kirk became like they gave him an admiral, what he did. Admiral.
Admiral Kirk.
No. I mean, I know he's in it, but I'm still sticking to my, like, he got shot down, and when they visit him, he's, they have to incorporate his appearance in place. But whatever. Hopefully this way.
Well, I mean, you could see in the picture that they showed of him, you could see it was a current picture, but they really did it. They did a job on his hair.
It wasn't. Yeah, because. Or they did some touch-ups on it, yes, because he unfortunately doesn't look like that in that photo anymore. But
no.
So that's why I'm saying, like, if he is, I know he's in the movie and obviously not for long, but because I still think that's his funeral at the end. In the first trailer, we see the planes flying over. They're at a funeral, so obviously I'm thinking it's Iceman.
Do you think it's Iceman's funeral,
Yeah,
or do you think
I
it's
think
one of
it's-
the kids that
I think
he's
it's
responsible for?
Oh God, no! It better not be Goose's son, or I'm gonna flip. No. I think it's Kasansky's. Like he probably dies after Maverick. Him and Maverick.
They pound the wings into the coffin.
Yeah, that's an actual thing. I know Navy SEALs do that.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah. So it's no, I'm so looking forward to this. I mean, it's
we've been waiting over 2 goddamn years for this movie. I mean, that we've been waiting for since '86, if you think about it, right? So, man,
I keep seeing Top Gun show up on Netflix, and I'm like, no, I'm waiting. I'm not going to watch it now.
Really? Oh, I mean, it would just be the number 62 of views. I mean, I could never not watch that movie. So,
well, I mean, for me, it's because like when I remember most of the movies that I've seen, right? So like if I see a title and I can run through most of the movie in my head right before I actually put it into the player, then I go next.
Okay. Well, I probably know so much about that movie and behind the scenes and the trivia than any other movie. So there's nothing. So if they're going to plant Easter eggs in this next movie, I'm going to spot them, like, for once. I do know. Highway to the Danger Zone is in it because Kenny Loggins was on a podcast and he cornered Cruise at the Tonight Show. So,
well, I mean, for me, it's more along the lines of, when I watch when I rewatch an older movie, I want to be re-entertained with it, right? So it's kind of like, I want to thing. But if I can, recite the movie before I even have it put, go through the entire movie in my head before I even hit eject to open up the DVD tray or Blu-ray tray, it's like, next. You know what I mean? Like, I'll probably enjoy it, but it'll be like halfway through it, I'll be looking at my phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean. Sure.
So it's a thing, It's like, what was it? What did I put on? I think after watching Halo, I was just kind of like slipping through Paramount Plus just to see what was playing. And it's like, I saw Patriot Games and I'm like, oh, I haven't watched that in a long time. So I go to stick it on, and then like at a certain point I had to go do something. So I paused it and I said, I'll come back to it. And ever since I've been trying to come back to it, there's been an error playing it. And I'm like, come on. Oh, I really want to see what's going on. I know what's going on, but I really want to see it anyway because Sean Bean's such a prick in it.
Yeah, and he's so good in it.
Oh, they're all good. I mean, it's all really, really good. Right. I think like we've been loaded up with all the action movies and whatnot of something a little bit of a more story oriented sometimes is just like a palate cleanser, I guess you could say.
Well, I think we're going to have a more story oriented episode next week for you because Mark and I are going to tackle the new show on HBO Max called Tokyo Vice. So we'll have a review of episode 1 of that for you. See what we thought.
When is that premiering?
That is April 7. So what is that? Is that a Wednesday? Well, definitely, next week.
I think that's a Wednesday.
April 7, Tokyo Vice, HBO Max. So we'll have a recap of that. And that's all I got, sir. I don't want to bore these people any more than we already have.
Did we talk about Taylor Hawkins last week?
Taylor Hawkins? I don't believe.
Drummer of the Foo Fighters.
No, because no, this would be the first podcast since that happened.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we talked about that. Yeah, I personally just started within the past couple of years getting into Foo Fighters. And I mean, I've always known their music, but I never really got into it. And just their personalities and whatnot, and watching interviews and so on. And
well, I mentioned it before, and I urge you, Mark, you'll love it. Watch Jagged. Okay. Alanis Morissette's documentary about that.
He's
whole
in
album.
there too.
He's I didn't know he was the drummer on tour of that. So he's there. The camera's always on him. He's got some great stories. So if you really want to watch a great documentary, watch Jagged.
He's such a personable person. Like I'm really, really, I'm so surprised as to how he went.
Yeah.
Me too. Because I mean, all of them seemed like they were, they were suburban dads. You know what I mean? Like they're.
Yeah,
they all got the minivans taking the kids to school. And,
they'd gotten it out of their system, so to speak, right? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, they all started really, really young. And now they're
we can't know anyone's and demons, right? I mean,
yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. A lot of bands have been like throwing the love online.
Yep.
You know, another youngin' taken from us.
Yep.
Although he was 50, but I mean, still
too soon.
He still look like a 20-year-old surfer.
Yeah, he did. That he did, my friend. That he did.
All right, gang. You can find us on social media. Yes, I've just blanked.
Yeah. And that's it. You can find us on social media. Good night.
You can find us on social media. Just Google. Just search. Just search. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube. Search Butcher Bay Rejects. You can find us on Twitter at Bay Rejects, Facebook at Butcher Bay Rejects, as well as at Butcher Bay Rejects on TikTok. You can find us on all your podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Alexa TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Alexa TuneIn, and Spotify. And you can also find our website, www.butcherbayrejects.com. That's it. We out. Have a good one. This has been Butcher Bay Rejects. I'm Mark.
Greg. See you next week, nerds.
Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.